By the time I was 15 years old, I was considered one of the best players in the country.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was like a rock star at 13 years old.
When I first saw him, it was something I'd never seen.
The term Manchild was devised in order to describe Schea Cotton.
High lob for Schea. Oh my goodness!
Growing up, Schea Cotton was the ultimate ball player at our age bracket.
When I first saw him, I was like, there's no way that this dude is the same age as everybody else.
We were all trying to be as big as Schea Cotton.
And if you were to assemble a dream team of the best 14 and under players in the country, perhaps at the top of the list would be a kid by the name of Schea Cotton.
It was unfair. You know, I felt like, oh, that ain't fair. This ain't fair.
Schea Cotton is the best high school athlete that I've ever seen.
Quarter's been all Monarch so far. High lob.
Man, he was selling out gyms since 6th grade, 7th grade.
Schea Cotton was like LeBron James before there ever was a LeBron James.
If you don't do nothing wrong, and you don't take no money, and you don't cheat on no tests, you're at the top, and you're on your way. In one day, it's taken from you.
Just as much as they'll build you up, it's twice as easy for them to tear you down.
It was so much shit. It was like, damn, how do y'all pile all this on a kid? Like,
it wasn't meant to be. He just had a talent, and he can teach kids what to do and what not to do.
Shea's story is important to be told because he falls into that basketball Bible where it's not just here.
To have people still calling you by your first and last name 20 years later, that means something.
Google Schea Cotton, you'll see.
Larger than life, standing tall. Haters wanna see him fall. He's a man-child, man-child. He's a man-child, oh yeah.
Welcome to Happy Hour with Lito. I'm your host. You know what I'm saying? I got a special guest all the time, but this time I'm serious more than ever. You know what I mean? I got a special guest. You know what I mean? When you talk about basketball, high school basketball, you know what I mean? At the elite of the elite, you know what I mean? You got to talk about my man, Schea Cotton. I mean, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on and everything. So, you know, with this pandemic and everything, I'm a big person that's, you know what I mean? I'm real big on mental health. So how have you been, you know, been able to hold up, you know what I mean, through everything that's been going on?
Great question, man. Just battling. You know, I caught COVID. I kept it quiet probably about 2 months, within the last 2 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
30 to 45 days. And I recovered from that in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've tested negative twice. So I'm healthy. I'm back stronger. You know, it was tough. I had a couple nights I didn't know if I was gonna make it. So, wow. You know, it's a challenge. You know, when you go through that, you go through that dark space. If it hits you, you know, you get all the symptoms. I mean, I faced the lack of taste and smell, and you know, the headaches and the nauseous, the sweating. You know, just the mere fatigue of the whole experience will just drain you. But blessed, I said a lot of prayers, and you know, I took my nutrients, and I had like a plethora of vitamins and stuff that I was taking with Mucinex DM to help rid stuff from my system, and I was fortunate to make it through.
Cool. Well, like I said, bless, you know what I mean? God bless that you know, you were able to get through that, because I know a few people that didn't make it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for the people who may have been living under a rock, you know what I mean? Tell them about who Schea Cotton is.
Well, I am, from what they say, I'm one of the top players to come out of Los Angeles ever. You know, I think probably top 3 from this city, with the likes of rest in peace, Raymond Lewis, John Hopley Williams, and probably myself. You know, from a lot of the basketball historians, definitely from the LA area. And I'm a guy today that does a lot of work with the youth. I mean, I was a top player. I was the #1 player in the country in 1995. State Player of the Year, CIF, as well as State, the John Wooden Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American. You know, I was
everything.
State Player, 15 years old, never been done since in our state. I graced the cover of Sports Illustrated at 15, had a 4-page layout. At that time, it wasn't really being done with the exception of Kevin Garnett when he jumped to the pros. But, you know, I had my star status early. You know, I probably started coming onto the national scene around 11, 12 years old through ESPN and playing on the AAU circuit. And it just took off from there. You know, I picked the rock up, started playing baseball, and got bored. So when I picked the ball up, I had a natural feel and a chip on my shoulder and a will to be great, you know, and I think it was a great fit. I never put it down.
Cool. So, you know, your documentary, man, I've watched it several times. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's a classic film. You know what I mean? It's a classic documentary. How long did it take you to actually shoot it?
It's in its entirety. I think it was about an 8-year process.
Okay.
I was finishing up playing pro ball right around 30 years old. The director of our production team, our true group, Eric Patah Herbert, came to me the first time out, and the timing wasn't good. I was still playing, had the itch to scratch, and we circled back a couple years after. And timing couldn't have been better. You know, I wanted to do something more. I wasn't happy with the way my career was ending up, and I wanted to do more to help make an impact with the youth, where they wouldn't have to go through a lot of these trials and tribulations that I faced. And I think that was the sole purpose of creating the Manchild documentary. And we're just blessed that it's in existence, and we feel good with the body of work, and we want the world to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I done told all my friends, like, yo, y'all got to watch this.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, if you don't know, you know, because we love basketball, man. I mean, so and I think I heard of you before, like I never seen, you know what I'm saying, like any film or anything. So when I was watching, I was like, oh man, like this dude was the truth for real. I mean, nobody could check you.
Had fun, you know what I mean? We had fun out
there. Yeah, for sure. Like, so like your work ethic, like as a kid, you know what I mean, was like unlike anyone's I've ever seen, you know what I mean, before. Like who inspired you to be like that type of athlete?
I think a combination of things. I think my work ethic was embedded, you know, from my father early on, and my mother as well, just teaching us accountability and what it is to have integrity. And, you know, me and my brother did manual labor. We did construction with my dad in the summers when we were young. I mean, 10, 11 years old, he had us on job sites, just learning the value of what hard work is. And it really helped us appreciate our gift that much more, because, you know, I wasn't crazy about their work. And, you know, I did it anyway because obviously I wanted to do what my father told me to do, but it helped me as I went up the ranks and started to face real adversity through the sport, you know, and even the business of basketball. It helped me stay kind of even keeled and just stay focused on my craft and to continue to work and develop rather than getting caught up in, you know, the fame and the hype and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So who did you kind of who did you see that made you want to pick up the basketball as a kid?
I think it was a couple people. It was a guy in my area, Dennis Johnson's brother, rest in peace, former Boston Celtic great. His brother, Joey Johnson, he had a 50-inch vertical leap. So I'd always go to the local Boys and Girls Club after school to stay out of trouble, because it was a real active period at that time in the LA area. So everybody in the neighborhood kind of went to the Boys and Girls Club after school that was trying to be somebody. And he would be in there working out. And, you know, I saw the guy shooting jump shots, and he was like, the rim was here, and he was like above the rim shooting down off the hidden banks. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So,
wow.
You know, just stuff like that. And like knowing the folklore of him, I think he's in the Guinness Book of World Records with the highest high jump ever, like 12 or 13 feet. You know, just these different stories. And I would grow up watching different players at UCLA, you know, Ed O'Bannon when he was in high school and in college, and McDonald's. You know, watching him play, watching a lot of other guys come up, being familiar with John Williams, played at Crenshaw, went to LSU, played in the NBA, you know, playing against him and running with Magic and stuff like that in the UCLA men's gym in high school at 15 when he had all pros on the court. I had a lot of stuff that was driving me because I had a lot of people in front of me that was older that I could look to and glean from. I studied a lot of film too, so I would watch a lot of college teams play, whether it's UCLA, UNLV, SC when Harold Miner was there, Baby Jordan, Michigan with the Fab Five. We had great basketball coming up at the times.
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
I stayed busy. I couldn't wait to get home from school to catch Big Monday and Super Tuesday, even when in grade school. So, and I had a knack for the game. I loved it. It was my sanctuary. I mean, it helped me escape the streets. So, I went through a lot, burying my best friend at 15. He got murdered, and, life got real serious for me. So it helped me really go for myself in the game.
God bless, man.
Absolutely.
God bless for sure. So who would you, well, first of all, you got a favorite team right now that you watch in the NBA?
Well, I'm Lakers through and through is LA here, except for my football, Saints all day long. But
Saints, okay.
Everything is LA based. So, I'm definitely rolling with the Lakers, always have. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a fan. I appreciate, the game, and I'm just LA through and through. So I'm always going to pull for the Lakers. It's good to see the Clippers do well too, but it's, this is a purple and gold thing.
Facts. Is there anybody that you would say kind of reminds you of yourself in the league right now? Because I remember when they were trying to say you were LeBron before LeBron, but LeBron didn't have a jump shot in high school.
Right, and didn't have my handle either, or the I was playing with. So, but he came along in the right era. He got to take advantage of social media. I did all my work before that came into play, and I think that made a big difference in, how my career ended up, rather than being able to really parlay that star-studdedness, that whole movement, kind of like a rock group type of deal. Me being like the rock star of that group of my AAU circuit. So I'd probably say pieces of LeBron because of physical prowess when he attacks the basket and when he takes over games.
Right.
I'd say Zion Williamson for his freakish athleticism.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, along those lines. And other guys in the game today, I don't really see anybody like myself outside of those two guys.
Zion is big for his size, isn't he? For his height, he's a big.
Yeah.
He's only 6'5", I think, 6'6".
Yeah. He needs to be a little bit leaner, in my opinion. I think that's why he had this knee injury early, because he's a little bit too heavy. And I think when he understands his body and how important it is to really, keep that BMI index down, that body mass index, keep his fat content down, and understand if he's lighter, he's more explosive, and then he's going to be more durable. He's going to go far and just really develop the handle in the mid-range, and he'll be damn near unstoppable because they can't do nothing with him around the basket already.
At all. I think I was watching the other night. He missed maybe 2 shots or something like that. It was crazy. I mean, every time he went to the hole, it was they just moved out the way.
Yeah, I mean, wide body too. He got shoulders, he got thick legs. I mean, explosive. So when he gets up underneath you and he's exploding to the goal, I mean, he hits you with them shoulders at 265, however much he's weighing right now. It's a tall order.
What about college basketball? Who you watching?
I haven't been able to watch too much, to be honest, man. Because of the pandemic, it's got everything kind of scattered. I think the NBA has been a lot easier because they've done a great job with their guys, as far as curtailing the numbers with COVID. But, college basketball, I think, is more of a training ground now compared to where it used to be. So it's hard to keep up with players because they're shuffling, year in and year out. They're coming and going out into the league or coming and transferring to another school. So top to bottom, I think USC has a really competitive group over there right now. And Jason Hart is one of my former teammates who was an investor. Okay. He's the head assistant over there. So they're doing some things, and then Pepperdine University, my friend of mine, Coach Lorenzo Romar, who's in the documentary, is the head coach there. He's doing some great things there. So there's programs that do really good work with their guys that will rebuild and get stronger. And then there's other programs that are just living off the name that are like missing that one player that really takes them to another level.
I got a cousin. Whenever you get a chance, check out Penn State. His name is Seth Lundy. He's a sophomore.
Okay.
He's about 6'7". He can shoot the ball really well. Nice handle. So they got a new coach this year. So he's not really getting everything out of them, I don't believe. You know what I mean? Like their record right now is not really who they are as a team. You know what I mean? So yeah, you get a chance, like, I'll send you he's on YouTube as far as like highlights and stuff of him too. He's from New Jersey.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's tough.
That's where you from originally, or where?
No, I live in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my fiance is her cousin. She's actually from Philadelphia, so yeah,
okay.
He's tough, man.
Got it. I look for him.
Yeah,
For
Seth
sure.
Lundy. Yes, sir. So I want to ask you something about something Scoop Jackson said. He said he believed that if you would have stayed at Mater Dei, you would have been in the NBA. You think that has something to do with it, switching schools?
Hey, everybody has their idea. Everybody has their version of the story. But the narrative, I think, ultimately was going to be what it is. I think I was so big, so young. They left me no room to grow, but to fall. And when I fell, everybody left. It just was. It was an interesting ride. But I know my mother stayed down for me, and the close family that I have, the friends that I've maintained along the way. You pull strength from unforeseen areas in times of travesty. I think I had a great experience at Mater Dei. I still have a relationship with the head coach, Gary McKnight, who's the winningest coach in California state history. Probably won't be beaten.
Yeah, they always got a good program.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're well taught, disciplined. You compete. They play at a high level. It's a national program every year, USA Today Top 25. So you got to know what you're getting into when you go there. And when I went to Mater Dei, the timing was perfect. Coach McKnight was familiar with me already. I watched the teams play several times and really appreciated, the style of play that they showcased and just the team side of it, the whole family and tradition of it. It's something I'll take to my grave. I feel like I often think about that. If I finished there, would my career had been the same or would it have went a little differently? It's a 50-50. I mean, there's no guarantees in life. The good thing is I know that I did everything in my power to succeed. Things happen out of my control. And I think that's what's so special about the documentary when you watch it. You see the oohs and ahs, alley-oops, and all the star-studded NBA guys and stuff in it. But it's a humanitarian story. I want people to take the hardships and the betrayal and the discouraged and the disappointments from it and recognize that I never quit on myself. I kept going. I think that's what's most important, the resilience.
Right. Tell the story about what you did to KG.
Played in Vegas. I was actually in summer school, got a call from AAU coach Pat Barrett to come out to play in a tournament in Vegas against K-Swiss Pacers, which was our LA rival. They had Paul Pierce and Baron Davis, Tremaine Ross. And they decided to bring KG along for this tournament, to win it. And they knew they'd probably match up with us at some point. So that was the whole goal because they hadn't beaten us for like 5 or 6 years. And Paul attests to it in the documentary as well. So, we went at it. I mean, KG was somebody I heard about. I mean, freakish athlete once again. He was 7 feet, 6'11", 7 feet at the time. He did what he wanted on the floor. He was long, had a motor out of this world. He could handle, he had nice touch. He could shoot, athletic. I mean, he was a shot blocker around the rim. He changed the game. So, playing against him, being able to see what he brought to the table, I knew he'd be special, but I didn't back down from anybody. And, I came in to win. That was my goal. They brought me into the tournament to secure the victory, and I gave everything I had. I think I finished with like 38 or 40, and we lost by like 7 or 9 points. The rest of my team was a little flat, so just couldn't get a little extra help to put us over the hump. But I made my presence felt and attacked the rim a few times, and KG tried to contest, and I dunked on him about 2 or 3 times in the game. So I think he was surprised, and the fans like went nuts. Everybody in the front row was like on the court. It was just unreal at that time to see somebody doing, I guess, what I was doing, looking back on myself, and then looking at the game today. The players today, like a lot of these guys still can't do what I was doing then. And they talk about me like I'm old news. It's like, I was doing stuff, that you really couldn't duplicate because of the training that I was getting, along with, my competitiveness. Like I had a chip, I had to prove myself every day. I step on the floor. When I developed the name, everybody was gunning for me. So, the real work when you get to the top is staying there.
Mm-hmm. So it's true, like you and your brother used to get on each other's backs and do calf races?
Oh yeah, donkey calf races all day long. You know, you lean over a flight of stairs, and you know, we get on each other's back, and we lift the body weight with our lower body. I mean, and it's all through the calves. I mean, your legs get strong, and after a while, you get used to doing that. It helps the fast twitch. So like you're getting up off the floor 2 or 3 times, you know, for a putback on an offensive rebound and just stuff like that, or just defensive rebounds around the basket. It makes you a lot more active.
I wonder if that's something that, you know, like the NBA players, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are tearing their Achilles all of a sudden. I don't know what's, you know what I mean? Like you seen KD, even though it's not the same as it used to be. Like, you know, now they have a way where, you know what I mean, you can come back from it and still be a good player. But, you know, there was like AD, they saying it's his calf. I'm like, that's, you know, he had to do something to his Achilles. I thought that's why he was out so he's gonna be out for like 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah. They thought it was a tear out here, and I think it might have been like a little bit of a strain or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, he didn't look like he tore it when you know, but because, you know, when Kobe tore his, he pushed off of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could
tell.
see it.
Yeah,
it took everything he had to shoot those free throws, but that's just the competitiveness that he possessed, you know, and rest in peace to Kobe.
Yeah, rest in peace, Kobe, for sure.
Yeah, that was my number one matchup one-on-one. You know, I'll take it to my grave. He took it to his. And, you know, he came to me in my dream 2 nights when I had COVID, when I didn't think I was going to make it. And it was so surreal. It was like he was in the room with me. And he just basically reassured me that, you know, the work I was doing today, he was commending me on, and, you know, to continue on my pursuit. Really proud of what I became, and, you know, just letting me know that he was at peace and don't worry about him, that he was all right. You know, it kind of gave me reassurance, because a part of me died when he checked out too.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, like, and the way it happened too, is just terrible. You know what I mean? But that's deep that he came to you in your dream. That's I mean, you know, that's a big thing for real. So what would you say if you had to choose one, like your most memorable like game, you know what I mean, whether it be high school or college or professional?
I have probably 3 of them, all high school.
High school.
Yeah, playing against Marbury in the Above the Rim. Was it Above the Rim, or was it Torrey Pines tournament in San Diego, California? And then I met Lamar Odom's Christ the King team there as well. And then the third game will be the state championship game, my 1995 sophomore year, when it led my team to the state title against Oakland Fremont up there, who was the top team out of the city in the Bay, and played at Oakland Coliseum where the Golden State Warriors used to play. And that's where I took home State Player of the Year honors, CIF State honors, and John Wooden Player of the Year. You know, and that I was riding high that summer. Sports Illustrated did the piece, and you know, that summer I played against Lamar Odom and his Long Island Panthers team and the NIT out here at Long Beach State. So that was probably my most memorable year, you know, in basketball, because everything was just lining up.
Last question. If you could go back and talk to yourself, like your younger self in high school, what would you tell them today?
Great question. What would I tell myself today? I don't know. I think the only thing differently that I probably would have did is, you know, understanding the business of it and the dynamics of the timing of where I was and what I was doing on the floor. I probably would have never went to college, you know.
Overseas, yeah. Probably would have went overseas, yeah.
Absolutely. Or I would have just went into the CBA and, you know, signed a deal, and then, you know, just earned my keep, and then probably got called up from there, or just did a European deal like Brandon Jennings, go to Italy for a year,
and then
good, you know, get drafted out of there. So, but, you know, I don't have any hangups. I don't have any regrets. You know, I just live with the reality of what happened, which can be hard at times, that an injustice was done, and, you know, they didn't make that wrong right. You know, they slandered my family name and had the world and the public thinking that I wasn't very intelligent. I didn't pass my tests, and like I took money and all of this stuff to try to make an excuse for what happened, when it should have never happened. But because of it, it's giving kids a lot more opportunity today, like with the Senate Bill 206 that's about to be passed here shortly with Gavin Newsom and LeBron James, the right to pay to play, which I could possibly be ambassador for here pretty soon. So a lot of these amateur athletes, student athletes, are getting a chance to have clothing line, hat, T-shirt, whatever, and they can get paid while they're in high school, just using their likeness and their image. We never had that opportunity. So I feel like that's a benefit from an injustice that took place with me. I think I was a big part of that.
That's dope. So they're working on that right now?
Yeah, that's the Senate Bill 206. You can look it up. It's the Right to Pay to Play Act. So it's kicking in, and that goes for the high schools as well as colleges, the amateur athletes. And it basically states, the player can basically exploit himself, through his likeness and his image, or her, but without using the school logos and stuff like that. And they can be compensated without any penalties. So that's a great thing. The colleges in California are on board. It'll be interesting to see how it's handled, because the NC2A is giving some pushback and said if they did exercise that they most likely would be almost desanctioned out of the NC2A, where they wouldn't be able to participate, in the tournament.
Yeah, that's dope. I hope that when that goes through, that's going to change a lot of kids' lives.
Absolutely.
For sure, because you already know, like Sports Illustrated and all these other places, they was getting paid. You know what I mean? Why not pay the kids too? You using them.
Right.
To sell your product.
In the streets,
Mm-hmm.
Only
sure.
Right.
You think are you familiar with the Lenny Cook story?
I am.
Do you think that he maybe should have just went overseas too? Like coming, instead of declaring for the draft, maybe go for a year and then declare, because he didn't play his senior year, I think.
Right. I have, I watched the film. I mean, I think his stuff was more self-inflicted. I mean, he had opportunities, and obviously he took the money. I mean, he admitted to it. I know Lenny. I think Lenny's got a good heart. He's just been misled. And, sometimes when you're in them tough trenches, you got to be a leader rather than a follower. And, a lot of people glean towards comfort rather than, being stretched. So I think that family that stepped up, that took care of him financially, that they were good to him. And I think he looks back and probably realized that he should have
stayed with them.
Different decisions with them. But just as a whole, I think he was in a position where he probably was just a little bit overly confident. And, the situation with the 5-star experience on film, that wasn't handled right. And there were a lot of basketball minds there that carried a lot of weight. And I think that didn't help him as he transitioned forward in his career also. But, I'm glad to see him still around the game, helping kids today and trying to do something good with his time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him, talk to him a little bit too, for real, because I think people need to know. Like I said, people need to know these things. A lot of people, they don't know the ins and out of, dealing with some of the things that y'all had to deal with, in basketball. Being a kid from, coming from nothing almost, and somebody handing you some money. It's tough to say no to that. You know what I mean? New Jordans all the time for every game you playing. It's crazy, man. But I appreciate you coming on, man. This really means a lot to me personally. You know what I mean? Do you have anything that you want to promote?
Now? I want to promote the documentary. Absolutely. We got the gear, we got the hats, t-shirts, face masks, hoodies on the line at my website, therealmanchild.com. I want to promote the documentary for purchase. You can find it there on my website. You can find it on my profile and my IG handle at Schea Cotton. We're up right now on Amazon, iTunes, and Prime Video. You can rent or buy it, all digital platforms, and let people know that I'm involved with this company here. I just partnered with Coca-Cola. We have a brand new Manchild Therapeutics oil. It's a rub-on. It's a great product. It's one of the best in the market, in my opinion. If you don't want to have surgery and you have ailments and a lot of pain and discomfort as you get older, it's the perfect remedy. A lot of kids I have today, they use it. Older people, my uncle uses it, my aunt uses it, my mother, my brother. I mean, I had bursitis, and this was the only thing that took the swelling and the pain out in about 6 months.
Wow.
Outside of that, tried all kinds of stuff. So, I'm sold on it. I'm backing it. I mean, it's amazing. And if people want access to it, they just go right to my website, therealmanchild.com. It's on the homepage. They'll see the bottle with somebody's hand, or you can click the shop button on the website, and it'll take you right to it. It's $49.99. You can order it. We'll expedite, ship it out as soon as possible.
Cool. I'm definitely gonna go there because I like to support Black businesses and everything. So I'm gonna get some, a t-shirt, hat. You know what I mean? So for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I appreciate you, bro. This is Happy Hour with Lito podcast. This is my man Schea Cotton. Y'all be cool.